Hi, I'm Eric Lanask with TMC. We're here at Cloud Expo. I'm talking this morning with 1010 Data's Sandy Steier. Sandy, good morning. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning. Thanks for talking to me.
So, we've been here for a couple of days, heard a lot about what different people have as far as expectations from the cloud, what their challenges are. What are you seeing as far as what are people looking for?
Well, I think that people are looking for all sorts of things. I'm sure you heard about the fact that it's nice not to have to manage your own infrastructure, worried about scaling. Our take on it is a little bit different, almost unique. Unique is a strong word. The way we look at it is the cloud is a great way for people to share information, because it is a neutral ground. It's kind of like the Switzerland of cyberspace, and use resources that they may not even be aware of if they're less sophisticated users. So in other words, to be clear, a business user who is not necessarily technically savvy can do an awful lot of work with a lot of computer resources that they may not even ever, they're not aware of because it's in the cloud. They work on their laptop, they can use it, they have tremendous resources at their fingertips, but it's kind of behind the scenes. And so that's a very powerful thing. It's more of a user-centric perspective than a corporate perspective.
So what are you doing to help bring that usability to businesses?
Right, so we're in a space called data discovery. Data discovery is a relatively new word, so I'll define it here, just so for those people who aren't familiar with it. Data discovery basically is the notion of business intelligence and analytics, data discovery, really sorting through data, trying to find interesting insights from it to drive a business forward. And where it differs from the traditional way of doing that is that it is focused on allowing the person who's doing the analysis, whether it's a business user, whether it's a data scientist, an application developer, whoever it is, they're able to do it on their own with very little technological infrastructure or support. So there's less of a burden on IT, there's less of a burden on an organization's internal infrastructure and the complexity of that infrastructure. You could just do things on your own. The classic example of data discovery, which is which predates the term, is really the Excel spreadsheet. That allows business people to do their analysis without a lot of technical infrastructure. All you need is Excel on your laptop. The laptop only goes so far. It's a physically limiting device. So if you really want to use big data, or if you want to do more sophisticated things, you need something more than your laptop. And the cloud is a great way of getting resources that are more than your laptop.
So what's the business challenge that your customers are coming to you and looking to solve?
It depends on which sector. We're in many sectors. We work with the capital markets, Wall Street. We work with retail, CPG, government, gaming, healthcare, pharmaceuticals. So it really depends on the sector. But retailers are interested in knowing who is buying what kind of customers do they have. They want to distinguish between the casual shopper who might be just coming in to buy something, because they're out of something, versus a more steady customer who comes in every week. They want to market differently to those two groups. They want to understand when people buy certain products, what else do they buy? Is there a cross promotion sort of opportunity there? When are people coming into their stores? Which stores are successful, which stores are less successful? That's just retail. Telecoms want to know who knows whom in terms of promote. If you want to retain, there's a lot of churn in telecom. People easily move from one carrier to another. It's very easy to do. They call you, they sort of beg you to do that, and so. You want to know who your key customers are, the ones who interact with a lot of other people, and if you lose those customers, you'll lose a lot more than just the individual customers. You'll lose their home network. So you want to know that, who is friends with whom and how influential are they. In the capital markets, Wall Street, it's an old story about data analysis. I mean, that market is built on data analysis. Just predicting how securities are going to move, predicting where the markets are going to go, is all based on data.
So, considering that you work with some of the most risk-based industries in the world, are there huge issues regarding security still going on in the cloud?
Surprisingly, no. I'm not going to say it's not an issue, but it's an issue that can be overcome just as any other issue. It's something which, whenever anybody buys anything, you look into it and you make sure that the particular brand you're buying is reliable, it does what it's supposed to do. It's easy to use. And so you have to do the same thing with anybody who operates in the cloud, but there's nothing inherent about the cloud business which makes it less secure than a company's own data center. I would argue that people whose job it is to work in the cloud and to manage cloud facilities like 1010 Data, and like the people we co-locate with, sort of a step down, there's an expertise there that a company that's not in the business of doing this sort of thing would not necessarily have. So, our business depends on security. It depends on our giving our customers a reliable, secure environment. If we were to fail at that, it would be catastrophic for us. And we have people who do that 24/7. Not everyone has that. Even very large companies don't necessarily focus on that. And so it isn't necessarily the case that doing it in-house is going to necessarily be better than getting someone who's an expert to do it for you. And we have found that there are companies that have their entire enterprise data warehouse in 1010 Data. That is to say, it's a very large company, multi-billion-dollar companies that have all of their data in 1010 Data. Everything that they do and all their analysis and operational reporting is based off of 1010 Data. There's a lot of proprietary data in there, which is critical to the company's success. And they don't want to necessarily become public. The whole thing is very important to their day-to-day function. In other words, if we were to suddenly disappear, it would be a problem. And so there's a security issue there, there's a reliability issue there, and I think we serve them very well.
Should those customers be concerned that the NSA may at some point want to look at their data?
I think everyone should be concerned about that, but if the NSA will look at anybody's data that they want to look at, I don't know. The one thing I will say is that we don't generally have data that identifies individuals. So we will know maybe that some person, some unidentified person, we don't know their name, we don't know their social security number, we don't know their address, bought something in a store today and they bought this, and the same person came in last week, but we don't know who that person is. We just know that it's the same person. We don't have, at 1010 Data, generally speaking, we don't have that kind of information. And on purpose, because these kinds of questions can be uncomfortable. If we had it, it wouldn't be a problem. We'd be as secure as a company having it on their own. And frankly, if the NSA wants to get at data, then whether it's at 1010 Data or whether it's in someone's own data center, if they need to get it, they'll probably get it. But at this point, it's not. We don't make it any easier for them to get it than if it was in a company's own data center.
Good. Sandy, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I'm Eric Lanask with TMC here at Cloud Expo. Follow all of our Cloud Expo coverage in the TMC Video Newsroom.